Welcome to the South River Mayor and Borough Council meeting number 11 of July 11th, 2022. This meeting is hereby called to order. May I have a statement of notice of publication read? Madam Clerk.
Statement of notice of publication in compliance with Chapter 231 of Public Law of 1975. Notice of this meeting to be held at the Criminal Justice Building, 61 Main Street, South River, or remotely via Zoom, has been published in the Home News Tribune on January 6, 2022, posted on the Municipal Building Bulletin Board, the Borough website, and the front door of the Criminal Justice Building at 61 Main Street, South River.
Technically, we should actually appoint an acting municipal clerk for the day. May I have somebody move the resolution?
I'll
Make
move
a
that.
motion to move.
Second.
Councilwoman Ballas?
Yes.
Councilman Gindi?
Yes.
Councilman Gurjensky?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mira?
Yes.
Councilman Oliveira?
Yes.
Council President Siula?
Yes.
The resolution was moved by Mr. Ciula, seconded by Mr. Gindi. Now, Madam Clerk, may we have the call of the roll?
Mayor Krenzel?
Here.
Councilwoman Ballas?
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Councilman Gindi?
Yes.
Councilman Kurjensky?
Here.
Councilwoman Mira?
Yeah, here.
Councilman Oliveira?
Here.
Council President Siula?
Here.
I hope I said everyone's name right. Sorry if I
Close
didn't.
enough. Please stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. There are no proclamations, honors, awards, or presentations to be read today. However, we are going to go into closed session. Something has come up, and we've been requested by a council person to go into closed session. It should not be long, I'm told, so we're just going to do it at the beginning of the meeting. May I have the resolution going into closed session read?
Resolution 2022-200, resolution of the Borough of South River, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, authorizing the entrance into executive session. Whereas Section 8 of Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, permits the exclusion of the general public from a meeting of the governing body under certain circumstances, and whereas the mayor and the council of the Borough of South River are of the opinion such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it, and it is hereby resolved by the mayor and the council of the Borough of South River and the County of Middlesex of the State of New Jersey, that the public be excluded upon the hereinafter specified subject matter, and that such subject matter to be so discussed is as follows. Personnel. Be it further resolved that such record of the above discussion will be made public when confidentiality is no longer required.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Gindi, seconded by Mrs. Ballas. Roll call.
Councilwoman Ballas?
Yes.
Councilman Gindi?
Yes.
Councilman Kurjensky?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mira?
Yes.
Councilman Oliveira?
Yes.
Council President Siula?
Yes.
Okay, we'll adjourn into closed session and return hopefully shortly.
Yes.
Ready, Madam Clerk? We can go into open. Motion to open by Mr. Gindi, seconded by Mrs. Ballas. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? The ayes have it. We are now going to proceed, as I mixed up my papers nicely, that's good, there are no second reading on the ordinances. However, we have many ordinances, first reading by title only, which will begin reading by the clerk. We will move to waive the full reading, and then we will get to listen to our council president with many different motions to move. So, beginning with the first one, 2022-22, Madam Clerk.
2022-22, bond ordinance providing for capital improvements and the acquisition of various capital equipment, appropriating $825,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $783,750 bonds and notes to finance a portion of the cost thereof, authorized in and by the Borough of South River in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey.
Mayor, I'd like to move that the council pass.
Why don't we waive the full reading?
Waive the full reading?
Second.
Motion by Council President to waive the full reading, seconded by Mrs. Ballas. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? The ayes have it. Go ahead.
2020.
Council pass ordinance 2022-22, on its first reading by title only, and the clerk be authorized to publish the same as required by law with the second reading and public hearing to be held at a meeting at 7 p.m. on August the 1st, 2022, by video conference via Zoom or in the council chambers of the Criminal Justice Building at 61 Main Street, South River, New Jersey.
I'll second that.
Motion by the council president, seconded by Mr. Gindi, who was, by the way, you were correct. We're doing it only by title only, so we don't have to have the two motions there. Okay, roll call.
Councilman Ballas?
Yes.
Councilman Gindi?
Yes.
Councilman Kurczynski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mira?
Yes.
Councilman Oliveira?
Yes.
Council President Siula?
Yes.
Ordinance 2022-23, an ordinance to amend the code of the Borough of South River, Chapter 193, entitled Vehicles and Traffic by amending Section 193-31.1, Schedule 2A, handicap parking thereof.
Make a motion that we move the council pass ordinance 2022-23 on its first reading by title only, and the clerk be authorized to publish the same as required by law with a second reading and public hearing to be held at 7 p.m. on August the 1st, 2022, by video conference via Zoom or in the council chambers of the Criminal Justice Building at 61 Main Street, South River, New Jersey.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Seola, seconded by Mrs. Ballas. Roll call.
Councilwoman Ballas?
Yes.
Councilman Gindi?
Yes.
Councilman Kurczynski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mira?
Yes.
Councilman Oliveira?
Yes.
Council President Siula?
Yes.
Ordinance 2022-24, an ordinance by the mayor and borough council amending the Borough of South River Code of Ordinances to repeal Chapter 174 entitled Flood Damage Prevention so as to adopt a new Chapter 174 entitled Flood Hazard Areas.
Move the council pass ordinance 2022-24 on its first reading by title only, and that the clerk be authorized to publish the same as required by law with a second reading and public hearing to be held at 7 p.m. on August the 1st, 2022, by video conference via Zoom or in the council chambers of the Criminal Justice Building, 61 Main Street, South River, New Jersey.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Seola, seconded by Mr. Oliveira. Roll call.
Councilwoman Ballas?
Yes.
Councilman Gindi?
Yes.
Councilman Kurczynski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mira?
Yes.
Councilman Oliveira?
Yes.
Council President Siula?
Yes.
Ordinance 2022-25, an ordinance of the Borough of South River, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending the Borough Code of the Borough of South River so as to amend Chapter 147 entitled Electrical Connections.
I move that the council pass ordinance 2022-25 on its first reading by title only, and the clerk be authorized to publish the same as required by law with a second reading and public hearing to be held at 7 p.m. on August the 1st, 2022, by video conference via Zoom or in the council chambers of the Criminal Justice Building at 61 Main Street, South River, New Jersey.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Seola, seconded by Mr. Gindi. Roll call.
Councilman Ballas?
Yes.
Councilman Gindi?
Yes.
Councilman Kurczynski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mira?
Yes.
Councilman Oliveira?
Yes.
Council President Siula?
Yes.
Ordinance 2022-27, an ordinance of the Borough of South River, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending the Borough Code of the Borough of South River so as to amend Chapter 72 entitled Public Safety Department of.
We're missing one, aren't we? 2026?
Oh, I'm sorry. Ordinance 2022-26, an ordinance of the Borough of South River, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending the Borough Code of the Borough of South River so as to amend Chapter 155 entitled Fees.
Okay.
Okay, I move that the council pass ordinance 2022-26 on its first reading by title only, and the clerk be authorized to publish the same as required by law with a second reading and public hearing to be held at 7 p.m. on August 1st, 2022, by video conference via Zoom or in the council chambers of the Criminal Justice Building at 61 Main Street, South River, New Jersey.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Seola, seconded by Mrs. Ballas. Roll call.
Councilwoman Ballas?
Yes.
Councilman Gindi?
Yes.
Councilman Kurczynski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mira?
Yes.
Councilman Oliveira?
Yes.
Council President Siula?
Yes.
Ordinance 2022-27, an ordinance of the Borough of South River, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending the Borough Code of the Borough of South River so as to amend Chapter 72 entitled Public Safety Department of.
Move that the council pass ordinance 2022-27 on its first reading by title only, and that the clerk be authorized to publish the same as required by law with a second reading and public hearing to be held on August 1st at 2022 by video conference via Zoom or in the council chambers of the Criminal Justice Building at 61 Main Street, South River, New Jersey.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Seula, seconded by Mr. Oliveira. Roll call.
Councilman Ballas?
Yes.
Councilman Gindi?
Yes.
Councilman Krasinski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mira?
Yes.
Councilman Oliveira?
Yes.
Council President Siula?
Yes.
So we'll revisit all of them on August the 1st. Doing our reports, as we traditionally do. Good evening, Mr. Koch.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The 2020 roadway improvements are done. We just haven't closed that out because it's combined with the 2021 roadway improvements. The 2021 roadway improvements, the auto flusher, the second one is installed, and the only thing left to do, major, is the Alborn Street repaving. I spoke with the contractor today. They gave me a time frame that I wasn't happy with, and they amended it to about 2 weeks from now, and they would get in and get that done. The 2022 roadway improvements, we have that designed. We've been asked by Borough to add the replacement of a couple hydrants and some valves, which we are doing, and then we'll be submitting that to the DOT for their approval, and with the hopes that we could pick a bid date and get that one moving. The 2023 local aid program, we made that application. We'll need the resolution confirming or authorizing the submission of the grant, and then that gets submitted to the borough. The transportation alternative set aside, Mr. Mayor, you want to talk about our field visit, or just that we were looking at it, the park?
Yes, you could talk about it.
All right, so the mayor and I met at the park to go around dailies and try to see if there's a way to economically loop it. I don't think I can get into too many details, but we did come up with another possibility that we're exploring that might not require a bridge. So we'll keep looking at that and decide if that's something you want to move forward. The electrical substation maintenance, that work is done except for a minor item which they're waiting for a part for a transformer. But I haven't closed that out because the SCADA system, which is Resolution 186 on your agenda tonight, will not authorize a change order, but authorize us to prepare a change order and then work out some details with the contractor for a SCADA system for the substation. And then well number 2 replacement, the DEP issued the permit. So we're making sure the contractor tidies up the few loose ends, and we'll have a meeting with the borough and the licensed operator to discuss everything needed and get that well up and running.
Any questions for Mr. Koch?
I do, Bruce.
Yes,
What do you think the time frame is for us to start using that well?
very soon. I want Mike Dubek from our office, who's been overseeing, is on vacation this week. He put a call into the contractor to get out there and tidy up loose ends, as I said, and I talked to Art and Joe. We're going to get a meeting together just to talk about whatever's needed on the borough side. I don't have an exact date, but our goal is to get it running.
Okay.
Any other thing? No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Zenga.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. A few items on the agenda. First one is the first reading of the bond ordinance. They are for vehicles for public works, SUV for the police department, replacement of air packs for the fire department, and various sewer system improvements. The borough filed a supplemental debt statement with the state of New Jersey. Second resolution is what we spoke about last meeting, approving the crossing guards contract from January 1st of 23 to 12/31 of 26. It's a 4-year agreement. Also have a resolution to join the Huntington County Educational Service Commission Co-op. Another resolution for a 2-year agreement with Madison National. This is for the borough's long-term disability and life and accidental death and dismemberment coverage. We have a resolution for renewal of banking service with Provident for another year from July 1st of 22 to June 30th of 23. And the last resolution was approving OOA instructors and stipends. These are all going to be charged to the county OOA grants that we get. That's it.
Anything for Mr. Zenga? Mr. Soares, head of DPW.
Yes, Mayor, I have nothing for tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Anything for Mr. Soares?
I have a question, Adriano. We did get your monthly report for through to May, and a lot of the operating budget is like gone. Some of these stuff are at 90%, 74%, and that was through to May 31st.
That's a temporary budget you're looking at.
Okay, so it hasn't added what we passed on the budget?
Right now, we have a past budget in there. I think what the average from the temporary budget back then, but some of the lines are getting
Yeah,
up there.
but that's
I'm not gonna
that's
say-
from May, so that's a temporary numbers.
Okay, because that was the last one I had in our thing. We didn't get June yet. Oh, okay. That's what I was concerned.
Some are getting, yes.
Still concerning.
We're watching it.
We're at like 90%. Okay, that was it.
Okay, thank you. Chief?
Mayor, the only thing I have is, as a reminder, on Tuesday, August 2nd, it's the first Tuesday of the month, from 5 to 9 p.m., we're going to be hosting our National Night Out event in conjunction with the Municipal Alliance. It'll be held at Denny's Stadium. For more information, or if anybody wants to become a vendor, any food vendors, please reach out to my executive assistant, Diane Nail, and she can be reached out at 732-254-1150. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Anything for the chief? Again, welcome to our new municipal clerk. I'm not going to ask you if you have anything on, because you're just starting one day, so I'll turn to our legal. Anything for legal today?
I have nothing tonight, Mayor.
Okay.
I just have a question for Andrea.
Yes?
Hello. We talked about that no-knock ordinance once before. Now that we have a borough clerk,
What I will
Ken?
do is I will send you the draft and then we'll start moving on it.
very good, thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I can't report progress this meeting. If you have noticed or haven't, you should drive by. We installed a new basketball court at Fitzy's field. It looks terrific. DPW did some cleanup around the edge. We're going to be doing some drainage improvement with our own people to make that work even better. Before your next meeting, which is in August, the county will be starting paving Prospect Street from Walker's Turnpike all the way to Reed, and Reed all the way to Maine, starting on the 20th, at night. Shouldn't be much. Some. Same time we're having meetings, there's a possibility that a contractor the trolley tracks from Main Street, and then the county will be paving Main Street from Hillside to Ferry. Roads in town will be on tonight's resolutions. 91 is appointing Dave Robleski as deputy construction official. We've already passed the title and the salary. This is to allow him, in my absence, to be able to sign paperwork and to address the public if they need be for the construction official. That's all I have.
Okay, anything for RBA?
Yeah, first and foremost, you mentioned Fitzy's. It looks awesome. There's always a ton of kids out there playing. When is the contractor going to line the basketball court?
I think they lined it. I think they have to make some corrections.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The three-point line is almost at the edge.
And
Although down there, they shouldn't be shooting three-pointers, but that's.
And then I know we have the playground equipment at Fitzy's. Has the contractor updated us with a date yet for?
He hasn't. I reached out to him in June. Houses on their desk, which is good, but there's projects that were delayed from COVID. They're getting them done. So I said, give me a time. Put in, I said 30 days, 60 days. He said,
Okay.
originally it was June, but now it's going to be maybe another 30 days or 60 days from.
Okay.
So.
Thank you, guys.
I also have a question regarding Fitzy's. Will the new playground area be where they eliminated the swing set from Fitzy's? No?
It'll be where the old set is, but longer. We're gonna put these swings over in the other area with the equipment that's there that needs to be replaced.
Okay. So you're saying closer to the street, to South Side, not the other side?
No, closer to
Union?
Union.
Okay, so it's gonna be on that side. And then you're discussing the drainage. Is that gonna be where the flooding happened most?
Yes,
Where the swing set was?
yes.
Okay. And I'm just curious, what made us go from the blacktop to the cement? Easier to maintain or?
The contractor, we were going for asphalt, the contractor said it's the same price.
Oh, okay.
So
That's good.
asphalt, blacktop concrete is better.
Yeah, lasts longer.
And he did a nice job, very nice
Yeah,
job.
looks awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, yeah, the kids are playing your left and right.
I have one more question for Mr. Londensky.
Sure.
Well, I'm not sure if it's for him, but I know, the first reading for 2022-25, which is the electric charging stations, how we're gonna be implementing for permits. Was that you that put that on the agenda? I'm not sure.
Well, Joe and I had discussed this and with our electrical engineer, Mr. Koch. We're not JCP&L or public service where they can absorb doing research on these connections. So this is a small fee for a license for residential connections. And if they're just plugging into an outlet, there is no fee. But if we have some people putting in superchargers, so that has to be checked by the electrical engineer, and that's going to be a fee involved with that. So just like we do with the solar, we're charging a fee and an escrow, so that the taxpayer doesn't pay for it, the person putting in the unit pays for it.
So like, you're saying like people put the Tesla things on their house to be able to charge. We're talking about something like that, correct?
The Tesla things are much more powerful than just plugging into an outlet.
Yeah, but that's what we're just talking about,
Yes.
correct? So what about the people who already have them, let's say? Because there's a few houses here in South River who already have them.
All right, so there's two types of charging stations. There's ones that you plug into the wall, and there's the other ones you actually hardwire into the wall. The one that you hardwire into the wall is where we're asking for the permit, because it's a 60 amp, opposed to you just simply plugging it in.
I understand that, but
What you might be seeing at houses could be the ones that are just plugging into the wall.
like the big box
Yeah,
with the Tesla thing where they have to,
Unless they hardwired it, and then they would have had to go get permits by electrician. That's basically what we're going after.
okay.
It should be.
What this will also do is allow us to prepare a log of these, which A, we will pass on to the electric department, B, we'll pass on to the fire department, so that they know where these charging stations are, because there is a hazard to them.
What I'm sorry.
So, one of my concerns with this is, at the League of Municipalities, I attended the session on this, and do we have the grid capability to sustain something like this?
That's why we have to do this
No.
inspection.
The answer is
So, what if,
Bruce can answer some more of that.
like, are we gonna be having to reject people from saying you can't put a 60 amp, just a regular one? Like, what are other towns doing when it comes to stuff like this?
Most of the other, there's only a few other towns, and I think those of us that have our own utility are dealing with this now. I think you're ahead of the curve. The SCADA system will allow you to monitor the loads on various circuits. Filling out the permit and having it reviewed will allow the borough to keep a record of it, and with every one, put down which circuit it is on. So you'll have the SCADA system, and you'll have how many amps each of these are going to draw. And then, over time, you can evaluate the condition, not the condition, but the loads on each of the major circuits, and determine if and when they need to be upgraded in order to allow them to provide the service. So, yes, there's going to be cost involved, because while the legislation is well intended, the town like yourself is going to have to upgrade things in order to keep up with this, depending upon how aggressively people move into the electric vehicle market.
Thank you, Bruce.
And
That's
Councilman,
why all of these little
if you
things-
remember, the savings from the battery storage project, plus the expected revenue from the Tesla project at the Wawa, we're going to put that aside so that we can bank it and at the appropriate time have a study done of the borough's electrical system to see where we're going to need to upgrade.
So,
As an aside, I'll mention that I'm told every Wawa in the state is getting a Tesla station like that.
so my question is still, I get like, if somebody were to put the outdoor Tesla thing before this ordinance, they did their building permit, but in this ordinance, it says now a borough utility permit. I'm saying, are the people who have it right now already, are they still gonna have to now apply for a borough utility permit?
No,
So they're grandfathered in.
they already have it, it's grandfathered.
Okay.
However, if they're gonna upgrade it or change it in any way, they would have to apply for the permit. But if they already have it prior to enacting the ordinance, they have it, as long as they complied with everything that they needed to comply with at the
To
time.
get it.
Yes.
Okay, so the borough utility permit, are we putting that aside somewhere else for this electric upgrade one day? Because on the ordinance, it says it's gonna go through the borough, like it's gonna be a fee for the borough utility permit. Is that going specifically somewhere, or is that just going into?
One is gonna be an escrow, which is gonna sit there just like the solar panels and then pay for all the professionals, whatever needs to be paid for, sit in an account, and then if the project's done and there's money left over, it'll be paid back to the escrowee. And the other one is an application fee, which the borough will keep.
Yes, but is that going to a separate utility? Is that, okay. And the escrows, I know we usually do that with like the planning and zoning board. They're just gonna be able to apply for this regularly, right?
Yes, they're gonna fill out an electrical permit, they're gonna put an application in for this also.
Okay, so there's gonna be a separate application for the electric charging station.
I determined that nothing else needs to be done, it's just a plug in, and I think that was $25 only, that's just to review it. And if it's a commercial or anything that has to go forward, it's a larger.
It's $100.
That's correct.
Okay,
So some people might not do anything forward, just have to pay $25 if it's compatible with the electrical engineer.
okay. Those are my questions on that.
You may remember when I gave my talk about this is the thing that I talked about. The future is here. The savings that we would have gotten out of the battery project, we're probably gonna have to rewire the entire town. There will be a study to give us specifics about that, but now we need to start keeping track as things begin to go forward. More and more people are going to be ordering electric cars, and we need to keep track of, be prepared for the future before it gets here. Well, Mrs. Mara, since you've been talking, you might as well give your report.
Okay, so TV 35, I just want to let you know their YouTube channel is back up there. And if you want to take a look, there are 2 new veteran stories that TV 35 did. The library board, I want to say they are in the process of updating their strategic planning. They had a 5-year plan that they're now renewing and possibly going from a 1 to 2 year plan. It is actually very helpful. I think the library, the way they run it, and they're able to see what needs to be done, what's changed, because so many things have changed since the pandemic, and not many people attend the library like they used to. They are finding ways to make it more of a community center and a maker space and an event location. And it's not just books. They have their hot spots that you can rent out, and audiobooks and all the interesting stuff. Their summer program already started, so if you have any children and would like to bring them down, they're doing the little passport and making it fun for the summer with them. The library is also doing story time at the community garden every Wednesday at 10 a.m., weather permitting. But every week it's a new topic or a new thing. I know they've been getting a lot of little kids there, and I hope everybody enjoys their summer programming. Other than that, the Shade Tree Commission will be at National Night Out if you want to stop at our table. And that's all I have for now.
Okay, very good. Mr. Gurczynski?
Thank you, Mayor. The Office on Aging, as the business administrator had mentioned, there's going to be paving done on Prospect and Reed Street. So just be aware that when they do it in mid-July, that there will probably be some delays and some disruption. The sincere thanks to the people that did their first flea market at the Office on Aging. It was a great success, and we'd like to they'd like to thank everyone who made this success possible. The COVID-19, the well-being of the seniors is the utmost important in taking extra precautions to keep the members safe. Anyone who tests positive for COVID-19 should not visit the center for at least 14 days to prevent the spread. Let's see. A monthly mingle, it's prepaid. It is supposedly $5 prepaid if scheduled for, I'm sorry, that was done already. The Craft Club is for Tuesday, July 26th. It's a $3 prepaid, and you must register beforehand to get into it. And the indoor flea market will be on Friday, July 29th, 9 till 1 p.m. at 55 Reed Street. And that's all I have right now, Mayor. Thank you.
Isn't there a mingle coming up this week? The monthly mingle is on the 15th?
There is a monthly mingle. I don't know, it will be this Wednesday, and it's $5 prepaid, and I'm not sure if there's a time limit on, pre-registering or not. You can call the Office on Aging tomorrow to check to see if you missed the boat or not, but, and it's limited space, and it's bring your own lawn chair.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Oliveira?
First, I want to start off with Parks and Rec updates. I want to thank Art and Joe and the council for approving our end of summer fireworks. It's currently scheduled for August 19th with a rain date of August 20th. If you would like to promote your business or your organization, please call Terry or Jessica. They can be reached at 732-254-4412, and they'll be happy to provide you the paperwork. Today was our first day of summer rec. We had 190 kids register. I want to thank everyone for their patience. I know Councilwoman Mara, you helped out this morning, so I want to thank you. It was a little overwhelming in the beginning trying to get everyone registered. Pick up and drop off, they're going to remain the same, which is the side door of the gym. So if you need assistance, I know they had some of the camp counselors escorting parents. Please be on the lookout for that. Anything you need, please let Terry or Jessica know, and they'll be happy to help out. Gymnastics, we had 23 kids register for our summer gymnastics program. If you're still interested, we are taking late registrations. We're not cutting it off. Same thing with youth agility. We had 28 kids register, and we are still taking registrations for that as well. The youth agility class has been a huge hit with the parents, so much that parents want to join the youth agility class. So what we're doing at the next meeting is we're going to be providing a resolution to offer an adult agility class. So be on the lookout for the parents to get involved with that. And tomorrow, we don't have meetings for the month of July or August, but we will be meeting tomorrow just to create a marketing calendar for the year. We're going to try something different with Parks and Rec. We're going to create a flip book that allows for virtual flyers for the entire year. So we'll have flyers for the fall, winter, and spring up, and we'll also have registration open. So we're going to give this a try and see how it works. But I just want to thank Terry and Jessica for all their hard work. They're doing a great job, and we've definitely been able to offer more programming and get more kids involved, which is a great thing. In terms of Board of Ed, their meeting will be in 2 weeks, and I'll have more updates for that on August 1st. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. I just quickly looked it up, Mr. Krasinski.
Yes, I did too.
Monthly mingle, Friday, July 15th,
Yes.
11:30, Bizet's Pond, $5 prepaid. Please call the,
Office on Aging.
right, because the limited space available, and I'm just looking, BYO lawn chair, bring your own lawn chair. Okay, thank you. So we got that out, good. Okay,
I knew I goofed.
Mr. Fula?
Okay, thank you. Real quick, Economic Development will be meeting on the 27th of July. And on July the 19th, they're gonna have a Main Street workshop for the residents and business owners. It's gonna be at the cafetorium, starting at 6:30. And it's gonna be going over, our master plan going forward. So if anybody who can attend, again, it's on July the 19th, that's a Tuesday, starting at 6:30 at the middle school cafetorium. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Ballas?
Yeah, just one thing. I want to congratulate the Cultural Arts and Heritage Commission on the success of South River Day. It was a very well attended day, and I think everybody had a really, really nice time. Some of my other departments are on a summer schedule, so I know July and August, nothing with the Cultural Arts and Heritage. I do have a health department meeting next week, so I'll bring you up to date on anything from there. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gindi?
Thank you. Our next Municipal Alliance will be held July 21st, 6 o'clock, right here. I know that we only meet quarterly, so this is a meeting that we usually talk about programs that we could bring to the kids for the upcoming season. Our next planning board meeting, which Mr. Ciola just announced, is going to be on July 19th. We are having a workshop, which is going to be touching on the master plan, your ideas, weighs on to this. So by all means, please come out, voice your opinion, show us what South River should look like or what you want it to look like. Starts once again at 6:30 and we'll be at the middle school. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Specifically, this one's going to be about Main Street again. We'll be breaking up into little groups to discuss Main Street. That's what we're aiming at this one. My report is simply basically the various ordinances that were introduced first reading. You heard about the first one concerning the bond ordinance. Number 23 concerned handicap parking on Raritan Avenue. Number 24 was required by the DEP. We had to pass an ordinance concerning flood damage prevention. So that had to be management regulations for the Borough of South River. 25 and 26 concerned the escrow fees for the applications for charging stations. You have a simple one, $25. More than that, there has to be an escrow, and number 26 set that up. Number 27 concerned deputy chief position with the police department. Moving on with the agenda, we finally come to public comments. You have 10 minutes. Please come forward, give your name and address, and you can talk about matters great and small concerning the Borough of South River, ask questions, or make comments. Please.
Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry, I printed one less copy, but I have this, it's okay for you. Our people will have to share.
All right.
I printed a copy of, I actually have a PowerPoint,
Hey,
but I realized this is
hold
name and address. Sorry. My name is Maggie Georges. I'm referring to 38 Redwick Way, South River, New Jersey. This is my sister, Marina Gerges. We're here concerning a very unique issue. I don't know if you've ever had someone speak about this, but I do have an agenda, the purpose, the background, the impact of chickens, overall pros and cons of chickens, proposal of solution moving forward. So today I am here. First of all, thank you so much for allowing me to speak. I've never done this, so I'm so sorry.
Take your time. There's no rush.
We only have 10 minutes. So the purpose of that we're here is we received a notice from Inspector Thomas Dropa for the removal of chickens, thus learned of South River ordinance that chickens are not allowed. Family, friends in Jersey City, East Brunswick Avenue allow for it, and we never knew that it was not allowed. Immediately, I emailed Mr. Mayor and Inspector Dropa to address the issue. I spoke again to Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much for your time. I'm surprised you answered your phone. Informed us that the opportunity today to come and speak to the council about the matter of the chicken. So a little bit, I'm on page 2 now, slide 3. So some background, with COVID-19, my mom's business in Jersey City was forced to close. This created a huge vacuum in her life. With the access time, she began to research raising chickens, and she has been carefully researching on how to home raise chickens for 2 years before finally committing in May 2022. My mom is a cancer survivor and has a lot of side effects from treatment, including orthopedic arthritis. She had surgery in one knee and is expected to do surgery in another knee. And because of her pain, she really does not move. She limits her movement. She does not do much. She's been so down these 2 years due to COVID, and I think a lot of people have experienced that. She's scared to go out. She was exposed once to COVID, and she got a blood clot. So she is very scared to get COVID again. She is vaccinated, but however, she just limits going out. She's at home. It's been a very tough time these 2 years, having no business and being stuck at home. Now moving on to life with chickens. So life with chickens is very interesting because for our household, we were really not for it. My dad, my sisters were like, "Mom, seriously, chickens?" We thought it was very unique, but this woman, guys, when I tell you she loves those chickens, is an understatement. And I know, like, it sounds weird, chickens, but the same way people love their dogs and cats and whatever pets, this is the same way she loves her chickens. With her chickens, she wakes up early, she's excited, she goes out to check on them to make sure they're healthy, she goes feeds them, adds some water to them, she constantly cleans them, she watches them interact, they provide her with physical activity and joy. And also another reason why she's like really moved to chickens is because one, she has had bad experience with dogs, and it brings her good memories and happy memories from when she was a kid, memories of her parents and some siblings who have passed away when they used to raise chickens as kids. And I can't tell you the 180 degrees it's really made an impact on her mental health. And I think we really underestimate the impact of mental health. And it really is just, it's such a bright light to see her. And then like she'll tell me, "Oh my God, I threw a cucumber at them and they were fighting over it." Like, "Mama, seriously, calm down." But she loves those chickens, and it really brings her a lot of joy. Going on to the next page, raising chickens, pros and cons. I really tried to be neutral when I Googled this, because I know from your perspective, you have to look at what's good for society, not what's good on the situation. So I looked up just pros and cons of raising chickens. I was very neutral in doing that. I looked up every article, and you might say that the pros list is a little longer, maybe because I'm biased, but after I'm done, I welcome criticism, I welcome your critiques, I welcome your feedback. So some of the pros of raising chickens, the number one impact was quality eggs. You avoid the hormones, it's great to have. Reduce food waste. Now, did you know, like, how many times do we throw away our lettuce? Like, I have to tell you that whenever I buy a 6-pack, one of them gets thrown out, at least, okay? Food waste, you can throw any food except for meats to chickens, and they will eat it, okay? It reduces the carbon footprint. Did you know our landfill? I'm so sorry. Concerned with plastics, but did you know our landfill is filled with more food waste than plastics? And that food waste, because of food waste, there's a methanol that is released that's hurting our environment more than plastics. Plastics, although it leaves a carbon footprint, it does not release a chemical that's hurting our earth. So food waste is a big problem. It's a unique pet. That was one of the things that were released. Chickens control pests. They love eating bugs, so it's great. And then it reduces anxiety and depression, increases physical activity. The red ones, the ones that are highlighted in red are the ones that really are an impact for my mom. Improves joint movement, which she had surgery on one knee and is expected to do another on the other knee. Although her doctor highly recommended her to do movement, she wasn't before. Now she has motivation to do movement. It provides laughter. I can't tell you the number of times she laughs at these chickens. Lessens loneliness. And then and the cons, I read the cons. Cost, it's very expensive. You have to have a coop, food. Maintaining any pet, right, is expensive. Biological waste, and that could create a smell. But did you know that their poop, as long as it's cleaned properly, is actually a great fertilizer for grass? It's even better than the biological waste from cows. Their lifespan, that was one of the cons. They can only live up to 10 years. As documented, noise is an issue, and can be an issue, not an issue. It can be an issue, and requires time every day. Now, when I look at these list of cons, I see that the major issue is the noise. which I will address in the proposal. So the proposal, I hope, by the way, I'm sorry, I skipped over the pictures. I hope you saw the pictures of my mom with her chickens. She like takes constant selfies. I was actually going through her phone. I thought it was ridiculous. I think there was more chickens than me and my sisters. So, but it's okay. She's happy. Anyway, so my proposal, so I understand that from your perspective, you have to do what's best for this township. And I respect that. And there is no doubt that what's good for this township is, is best for everyone. I know that's your role. But I some rules are outdated, right? Things have changed over the last 2 years. Mental has really been brought into light a lot. And I understand that there are many reasons people may have chickens. Okay, I understand people do it for commercial use, for raising and slaughtering them, but she's truly having it for pets. Okay, truly is having it for pets. Even there was one chicken that was like a little wobbly. I'm like, Mama, you're sure gonna keep that one? She's like, I can't, Maggie. How could you even think of that? Like, she really I can't even tell you. You have to meet her. You have to see her. Maybe you'll fall in love with them. Really, I can't tell you how much we were against these chickens, but because of how happy she is, I cannot be here, not stand here. And the reason also I didn't mention I'm here because she was like crying, like when she got the notice. She was crying when she got the notice. She was so upset. And I was like, Mama, don't worry. I'm going to do my best. I'm like, I can't, I will handle this. And luckily, actually, when the notice came in the mail, I was at her house and I actually signed off on the certified mail. So I've tried to minimize her involvement just so that she's not upset. I'm like, Mama, just enjoy the chickens while we still have them today, enjoy them today because we don't know what tomorrow is, especially today. So proposal is to allow for chickens as pets, personal need. Of course, no commercial use. Owners must have specific shelters for chickens, must be vaccinated, clean conditions, humane conditions, and may be logged in the city, recorded in the city. That might be requirements for the city to have chickens. And I totally respect anything that, the city sees as fitting to have chickens. I know there was bad experiences for chickens in the past, and a lot of that is probably because of lack of cleaning the chickens, but just like grass, right? If you have long grass, you get fined for it. And I take the responsibility to maintain keeping the chickens clean. The one thing in the proposal that I cannot address in the cons is noise, to be honest. Noise is the only thing. But really right now they're not making noise. And honestly, we live around so many animals. This last month, I'll tell you, animals haven't been the problems. Fireworks. Fireworks are going off till 2 a.m. My kids are freaking out. Okay, there are some things that are allowed that are really more harmful with noise-wise than chickens. Birds, how many times do we wake up from birds? I personally am a light sleeper because I have 3 toddlers, but I always wake up from birds. There's nature. Dogs are always barking. Dogs are also loud. I cannot control chickens' noise, but it's not an unreasonable request. Overall, this proposal is just to really help her mental health, to allow her to keep the chickens. That is why I'm here. I'm sorry if I'm talking really fast and if I missed anything, but really I want her to keep the chickens. It really makes her happy. I can't imagine her life without the chickens at this point because before the chickens, she wasn't moving. She wasn't she was always so down.
She wasn't excited for anything.
She wasn't excited for anything.
Despite having 3 grandchildren and a loving family.
And kids, but that's okay. The chickens, she's like, the chickens listen to me better than you guys.
Where does she live?
38 Redwick Way.
Okay.
Yeah, she has a huge backyard. I think it's probably the largest in the community.
Yeah.
I think it is the largest. And, she really does keep a clean condition for them.
And they're not free in the backyard.
They're not free, yeah.
They have a designated corner,
area.
Fenced off.
Fenced off, yes, absolutely. And she makes sure, if they're going to be out, they're going to be out for an hour walking around. And then she makes sure that they go back in before, they're not outside, all day. They're outside just to, get some sunlight. And they don't like being outside, actually, at night. It's really interesting. It's actually really interesting. But it's really, overall, the pros outweigh the cons. And even the cons can be addressed really according to the owner. The one thing that cannot be addressed is one thing, but there's nothing that doesn't have a con. There's nothing in this world. Really, everything has pros and cons. I look at fireworks, I'm like, how are they even approved? Because the cons outweigh the pros by 100 times. There are so many things. There are so many things, right? That we can say that there are things that are allowed that have a longer list of cons than pros. So I kindly ask that you really reconsider this in the ordinance, and I really, really ask that you truly keep this chickens for my mom. And I'm really sorry to I know this sounds ridiculous. Honestly, preparing this was ridiculous. But like she really loves it. Like like she loves it. She loves it, and I really am trying to look at it from a fair perspective, and that's why I really got involved. But if you saw her, you guys are welcome at any time 38 Redwick Way to like see her happiness. Like she's so happy. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I welcome any questions, and I appreciate your time, and thank you for your service.
How many chickens does she have?
That's a great question. About 10 chickens.
Okay.
I'd like to say I do have a friend who lives in Monroe, and she went through cancer, and she got chickens as like a therapy pet for her.
It does exist.
Actually, if you look it up, there is research to support that. It's not just like, oh, they make them happy. There's a lot of research. Just like you have a dog, you have a cat, you can have chickens.
And my sister is a PhD in cancer biology, so like she really knows her research. So like
Well, I'm going to ask the borough attorney to do some research on this to look into when was the ordinance put in, and let's see if we can get some history, because Redwick, yes, I happen to have met a gentleman who was unhappy with the chickens.
It's probably
but,
yeah. So
and
it's interesting. We have
then also somebody who lived on in a different part of town was complaining because somebody has chickens, and every so often if you ride along Jackson Street, they apparently somehow get out and they're strutting around the front yard. They're not supposed to have chickens either. And but let's take a little bit of research into this and find out.
With all due respect, like I understand like neighbors, but like I wanna respect everyone. I really respect everyone's like what brings them activity. Some people enjoy weed, right? I like weed. I hate the smell of it. Okay, but I can't control that. And overall, like fireworks. Some people enjoy fireworks.
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
I will just say that if we have like that rules permitting it, right, then it can help us also kind of if it's a no, then we kind of have to hide them, right? I mean, we won't hide them. But if you set guidelines that say you can have this many chickens and this is the coop that needs to set, then we can put them in the coop. We can build a structure that properly suits them so they're not out in the street, So if you guys can establish the guidelines for us, then we can happily follow guidelines, This is the coop size, this is the number of chickens, we would be happy to follow those guidelines. So then they're not strutting around.
And there's a lot more pros than cons. Everything has a con. Everything. Birds, there's so many animals. Deers bring ticks.
Okay.
We can't get, I'm sorry.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Sorry to take so
Richard,
much
do you
time.
want to say anything?
Hi, good evening, Richard Berman, 11 Cassette Place, Environmental Commission Chair. One thing I wanted to say about the permit for the electrical vehicle is, it says with a level 1 charger, it's from 12 to 16 amp load, and you need a 20 amp circuit. And it says a permit is not required unless you're installing a new 120 volt outlet. I don't need an engineering review. Any qualified electrician can go in my house, look at my panel and say, I can add a 20 amp circuit, or no, you're gonna need an upgraded service. So, and particularly you can get a level 2, an 80 amp level 2 charger that needs a 100 amp circuit, which that's a wallop. But like my central air is a 30 amp circuit, and you can get a 32 amp level 2 charger that needs a 40 amp circuit. So I have 200 amp service. Do I need an engineering review to say I need to add? So the goal is to get more alternative vehicles out there, and I'm concerned that you shouldn't complicate the ones that don't need to be complicated. Your Tesla supercharger, your Tesla power bank, that's all, beyond my pay grade. But so I'd say put an amperage limit and say if you need a new an upgraded service, then trigger the whole engineering review. So that's what I'd say to modify it, to make it simpler for the ones that are simple.
Richard, I'm sorry. Sal's asking for you to speak to the microphone.
Okay. South River Day. We had a blast at the Environmental Commission table. We gave away repurposed coffee mugs as planters, and we must have gave away at least 50 of them. And lots of interest. It was a great idea. I'm looking forward to next year. Maybe a few extra food vendors. But I call it a great success for both for my
It was
committee
a success
and
and
for the borough.
first time, so next year, tinker with it and get it better.
I have to report that an unwanted friend is back. Good friend, the spotted lanternfly. Not only is the stage 1 black nymph with white spots back, but now the stage 2 red nymph with white spots is crawling over. And they jump. I'm standing on my porch, one jumped from the ground onto me. I'm like, oof. So this, they love this tree. This is the tree of heaven, which also came to China, from China, except it came intentionally in 1784. Just travelers thought, hey, this is a good-looking tree. Let's bring it back to the U.S. and Europe, and it's been plaguing us since. Without the bugs, and the spotted lanternfly's favorite food is the tree of heaven. So if you have one, it's going to attract them, and it's going to eat other stuff that is not resistant to its damage. Evolution in their native habitat, they don't kill the tree of heaven, resistant to it. It's a very hard tree to kill. If you've read A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, the tree is the tree of heaven. If Brooklyn can't kill it, it's hard to kill. So this is what it looks like. And if you have one in your yard, consider getting rid of it. This is like a younger sprout. If one sprouts, pull it out. These are actually in the woods of Grukowski Park across the street from my house, and we're going to send a request to Public Works to have the ones there taken out. But it's it's a prolific spreader. It spreads by seeds, by root suckers, and it emits a toxin that kills surrounding foliage, so it competitively displaces stuff. And it only grows for about 50 years, and then it dies and it falls over. And it gets, 50 feet tall and can, like, you want to invent a time machine so that the guy, you slap the guy who brought it here.
Yeah.
We can do that. But
Apparently, it's a
we
weed.
want to get rid of these trees. I put it on our commission page. Have you seen this tree? Get rid of it. If it's in the public right of way, let us know through a tree removal request, and we'll have it taken out.
Okay,
Good.
thank you. Anyone else on first call, second call, third call?
Motion to close.
Second.
Motion to close by Mr. Gindi, seconded by Mr. Seula. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? The ayes have it. There are no mayoral appointments, therefore we go to consent resolutions. Madam Clerk?
Whereas Resolution 2022-01 authorizes the Borough Council to utilize a consent agenda to adopt various resolutions of a routine and non-controversial nature at one time. Now therefore be it, and it is hereby resolved that the below-listed resolutions are hereby adopted by the Borough Council in whole as if the same were individually acted upon. Consent agenda Resolutions 2022-179 to 2022-99. 179, authorizing agreement with South River Crossing Guards Association from 1/1/23 to 12/31/26. 180, granting renewal to ABC licenses July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. 181, authorizing Borough of South River to enter into a cooperative pricing agreement with Hunterdon County Educational Services Commission. 182, renewing agreement with Madison National Life Insurance Company Incorporated from 9/1/22 to 8/31/24. 183, authorizing tax collector to refund double payment in the amount of $1,146.75 to Foundation Title, New Jersey. 184, authorizing fireworks display by South River Recreation Department on August 19th, 2022. Rain date is August 20th, 2022, and contract with D&M Fireworks LLC for $9,700. 185, authorizing execution of license agreements with the approval of the South River Parks and Recreation Facilities use permit. 186, awarding contract to CME Associates for professional services related to Willett Avenue Substation SCADA system in the amount of $8,016. 187, appointing summer help for administration department. 188, appointing Alyssa Guglietti, RMC, to the position of Borough Clerk effective August 1st, 2022. 189, granting renewal of ABC license to Kilimanjaro International LLC with special conditions for July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. 190, amending Resolution 2022-152, declaring emergency repair for water treatment plant and award of contact to Rapid Pump and Meter Service Corporate Incorporated. 191, appointing David Robluski as Deputy Construction Official. 192, authorizing the requisition of funds for payment to the custodian of school monies. 193, authorizing approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant contract with NJDOT for the improvements to Leonardine Avenue, Prentice Avenue, and Beryl Street. 194, authorizing Provident Bank to provide the borough's primary banking services. 195, appointing instructors for Office on Aging. 196, appointing Robert Horvath Jr. as mechanic within fleet maintenance in the Department of Public Works. 197, accepting May 23rd, 2022 regular and executive session minutes. 198, accepting June 13th, 2022 regular and executive session minutes. 199, authorizing the bills and claims list.
Your pleasure on the resolution.
Motion, move the
Second.
resolution.
Motion has been made by Mr. Seula, seconded by Mrs. Ballas. Roll call.
Councilman Ballas?
Yes.
Councilman Gindi?
Yes, with a abstention to consent resolution 199, the bills, which was 21-02625, 02655, 02936, and 22-01425.
Councilman Krasinski?
Yes.
Councilman Mira?
Yes.
Councilman Olivera?
Yes.
Council President Siula?
Yes, with the abstention from 199, from bill list 22-00926, 22-01362, 22-01425, 21-02625, 21-02655, 21-02936, and 21-02329.
And the consent resolutions have been passed. There is no resolutions to be read separately. Governing body comments. We'll start with Mr. Gindi.
Thank you. First of all, I want to welcome Alyssa. Welcome aboard. As you've heard, August 2nd is going to be National Night Out, held at Denny Stadium from 5 to 9. In the past month, we have lost somebody that has been part of the town for 26 years, Maureen Rita. She has been a fixture in our town. She's been sitting at our Johnson and David spot for 17 years. She's a crossing guard that retired. She's going to be surely missed by everyone. I wish her the best in her retirement, and most of all, thank you. In our ordinances, I wanted to bring up a ordinance that was brought back, which I had something to do with it, which was the deputy chief's position. The history of this position was that back in December, I had this position removed. And one of the reasons it was removed was because we didn't have the finances. The other reason was because it's been dormant since 2009. Ever since then, it stirred a huge whirlwind of issues within the police department. At our last council meeting, we proposed it or presented it again for second reading. As I was watching the meeting, it got turned down. And one of the reasons it got turned down was because it was rewritten and had the rank shift where a sergeant was capable of actually jumping a lieutenant to become a deputy chief. I understand the concern. I get it. But the chief was basically trying to open it up to everyone. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. The mayor and council, I should say the council, voted it down. Going through quite a few conversations with the mayor as well as speaking to the chief, we decided to bring it back the way it was. Carbon copy. Nothing was changed, the way it's written. What you don't realize, or what you do realize, is that it shows that the chief will single-handedly pick the deputy chief when the position is up. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be next year, it could be 2 years from now. It's up to him whenever he chooses to bring it back. Now, as you also know, it's going to be eligible to the 3 lieutenants. If for any reason there's only 2 lieutenants, he has the ability to go to the sergeant. The problem you have is the mayor and council did not agree on bringing back or bringing the concept of a sergeant jumping a lieutenant. The problem, well, if we say no, which I'm going to tell you, I understand why we don't support it, and rightfully so, but that means that the chief would hang on to that position until the right appropriate person becomes a lieutenant for whatever, how many years. He may not even want to use it. I'm just letting you know that this is going to be brought back. August 1st will be our second reading, exactly the way we got rid of it the first time. If you have any questions from now to then, feel free to reach out to me, the mayor, the chief. We could talk about it. That's all I have. Other than that, stay safe, watch your kids, everybody's out playing, enjoy the weather.
Doesn't the chief recommend and the governing body appoint?
That is actually true.
Okay.
That is true.
That's not on the ordinance, though.
It is actually in the ordinance, yes it is.
The ordinance that's on our agenda.
It's the same carbon copy as the one from the original when we got rid of in
Well,
December.
then I didn't get the correct one, because the one I got just says about the position of the deputy chief. That was it. It doesn't say
It doesn't
who
get in-
appointed, it doesn't say,
We'll send it to you.
If
well,
I may, I can explain.
Yes,
okay,
please
because
explain.
that's not what we received.
Well,
Right,
what you received is correct. When we removed the position, we solely removed the position. We did not remove any of the other ordinances that dealt with the deputy chief. You have another section in your code currently that talks about promotions for your senior officers, your sergeants, your lieutenants, and your deputy chief. There is a promotional process already on the books that was going to be removed when we cleaned up in the recod because we already did the position. But now that you're reestablishing the position, that is just, it's still a law. It's still the ordinance. It's still what you have to follow. So it's in, I don't know the ordinance number off the top of my head, or the code, the section number, but what I can do, Julie, is I can send it to you. I'll send you the section number and you can look through it.
Because that was actually going to be my question. I saw what was on our agenda, but all it said was about the position, not how you know, the last one we shut down said exactly what, you know, who appointed, who could do it. This one just put in the position, so thank you for clarifying that.
The last one that was voted down amended multiple sections.
Okay.
So it took what was already in your ordinances and it amended that. It made a couple changes. That was shot down, but the actual old ordinance that was being amended is still effective. So this, if you adopt the deputy chief position, it will then be governed by the promotional process that was already in your code book.
Okay.
Andrea, and I believe it's 72-24.
72-24. Thank you. I just didn't have it off the top of my head.
Mrs. Ballas?
Okay, first I'd like to thank Mr. Gindi for his kind words about Maureen Rita, who happens to be my sister. She has been on that corner for 17 years, and as the chief will attest, it will never be the same. She was so surprised, as we all were, when she got the wonderful send-off by the police department, the crossing guards, good cheesecake, and she really, really deeply was surprised. And again, that corner is never going to be the same. She has crossed children now that have children. So I congratulate her. We've been made aware of some car break-ins around town, so please lock your doors, lock your house doors, front and back. Personally, I do know some people who have had their cars broken into. Not a lot was taken. But if you see something, I know we see it on Facebook all the time with people's alarm bells and their cameras. Just let us know. Don't always just put it on Facebook and think it's going to be fixed. Let the police department know also. Yesterday, Mr. Seal and I drove around town just to see, what was going on. We are finding people dumping their old appliances on the street with the doors and the lids and the furniture all on, which I think makes a hazard for the neighborhood children. And not only that, it makes the neighborhood look horrible. So unless you have a big pickup, which doesn't go out until Friday night, do not put your old appliances and furniture on the sidewalk. You have to make some kind of arrangements for it to get picked up. That along goes with cutting of your grass. We have, in my neighborhood, a few houses. I know our code enforcement officer has been to many houses many times. They're just not complying with anything, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. Other than that, be safe. The children are around, they're on their bikes, they're on their scooters, and just be mindful of what's going on around your house and your neighborhood. And that's it.
Thank you, Mrs. Ballas. Mr. Ciula?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start off with fireworks. This past year has been as bad as the previous years with these aerial fireworks. Think about your neighbors. Think about your neighbor's property. This year, we had 2 small structure fires because of aerial fireworks. You don't realize what the fallout of these fireworks can do. 2 years ago, we had a resident shooting fireworks off down in the Mono Street area and set a house on fire on Hollander. Landed on the deck, caught the patio furniture on fire, and went right up the back of the house. Think about your neighbors. Think about the safety of your children. There was an 11-year-old boy in Indiana who was standing next to one of the aerials. The canister exploded, hit him in the head, and killed him. 11 years old. Think about what you're doing with fireworks. Think about your neighbors. Please, be safe. There's a lot of damage that these fireworks can do. If you notice that when we have our fireworks for the borough, there are fire trucks all over the entire area. There's neighboring towns that come and help to make sure every house, every street is covered with protective firemen, that they can protect the area. So again, please do not shoot off aerial fireworks. Be very, very careful when there's young children around. There was another gentleman, 18 years old, from, I believe it was Alabama. Same thing. The canister went off, hit him in the chest, and killed him. Blunt force trauma. Be careful. Think about what you're doing before you do it. Welcome, Melissa. Pleasure. And I have to say this, I know she's going to kill me, but Maureen, congratulations on your retirement. We are definitely going to miss you, and I will see you driving around town. And with that, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver.
Yeah, as everyone mentioned already, I just want to congratulate Miss Rita on her retirement. I want to welcome Alyssa to our council family. As Tony mentioned, he talked about being mindful of your neighbors. Spoke to a couple residents in town, and one of the common themes was that people aren't picking up after their dogs. Please, if you're walking your dog and it goes in someone else's property, please pick up after your animal. Be on the lookout for kids. The weather, beautiful outside. You see more and more kids at the park. Fitzy's must have had probably 70, 80 kids on there Saturday at one time when I drove by. They're riding bikes. They're having fun. Please do not speed around South River. It's not a raceway. You know, be mindful of your surroundings. And I hope to see everyone at the National Night Out and our end of summer fireworks. Again, I'm really excited. The company that we approved at this meeting usually does a phenomenal job, and they usually like to test out new fireworks for us. So I'm really excited to see the new show that they have for us this year. And with that, Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Gurczynski.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I'd like to thank all of our borough workers. It's been a little bit trying these past few weeks and everything like that, too, with the heat and the weather and everything, especially like with our DPW and some of our patrol and what have you. It's been hot. It's been dry. Just be mindful of any outdoor picnics or affairs that you have. If you happen to be using a barbecue or something like that, too, be mindful of that fire, that it doesn't catch that grass on fire and possibly spread. With that, respect your neighbors, please. Don't put your trash out 5 days before it's supposed to be collected. Cut your grass and stay safe, all right? Watch out for our children. With that, I thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Mara.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I'd like to welcome a new business that we did get in town last month, Bella's Nail Salon on Main Street. It's always good to see new businesses coming in, and from the looks of it of our residents, a lot of people have been supporting this new business. So I'd like to welcome them to the community, and I hope people start going out locally, walking down our Main Street. Like everybody mentioned about this month having the Main Street Workshop, I think it's very important for our residents to come down Tuesday, July 19th at 6:30 at the middle school cafetorium, because it's so important to know what type of businesses we want here. Coming downtown is one of my favorite things to do. I mean, I work locally, I shop locally. I try my best not to drive. Me and the kids are everywhere on our bikes this summer. And it's good to support your local businesses, so just keep that in mind when the weather's good in town. I'd like to thank the police department once again for their bike rodeo donations, because as the summer began, I've seen a lot of my friends and my kids' friends posting their winnings from the raffles that they did for the bike rodeo that they weren't able to do, but they were still able to give all those donations. So thank you to you guys and to the other organizations that donated bikes to give out. Which brings me to possibly starting a discussion with the council regarding looking at bike paths in town. Kids do ride a lot of bikes around here. I know we want to promote kids being in a walking district of South River. We say our schools are walking district, and everybody takes their cars, and it's such an issue in the beginning of the school year when all these parents are taking their kids. But I think it's because we really don't have a bike path or a way of looking out for the safest ways to get to school on their bikes or even around town. So if this is something that maybe the council or one of the other commissions can start looking at, I would highly recommend it for the future, because kids want to be outside. They want to benefit from exercising and taking their cool new bike to school. And I know we want to promote stuff like that with the kids. But I think parents will feel more safe knowing that their kid's going to go a certain way to school, and people in town will be more aware of where the bike paths are. So just a thought. Not sure whether a commission can look into that or if the council wants to do any further info on that. To the residents that came with the chickens, I think you're not the only residents in town who do have chickens. I know there's various parts in town where people post, and you could even see that they might have chickens in their things. it could be something we look into. I know personally the people that I know use them therapeutically, as a sense of, wellness and mental health and stability. So I do understand you in that aspect. You also touched up on the environmental and the food waste. I just want to mention that the Environmental Commission did speak at their last meeting regarding composting. We're looking into like bins and trying to get more information to our residents regarding food waste and composting and keeping food and stuff like that out of, our from our waste and helping with, that going where it shouldn't be and being more healthy within our community. Today we discussed the electric charging station. I think Mr. Byrne did bring up a good point. I hope that even though we want to start putting out permits for stuff for our residents, I hope we don't we make it more difficult for people to try to do it and get out the right information regarding, I read the ordinance and I was a bit confused as to there's going to be the utility permit and the building thing. I just want to make sure we get all that information out correctly so people don't feel like it's more of a hassle than it is beneficial. Electric cars are coming, people. I understand our grid is old and we need to look at it, update it. Which brings me to my question. We have a utility authority. We came up with that committee. Have you guys met? I believe you guys, that authority was a quarterly meeting, and you guys were supposed to discuss things like, has the utility authority met? Yeah, we created a utility authority within our committees. No?
No, I'll look into it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, in the beginning of the year, when we set up our commissions and committees, we have a utility authority.
I'll look into it.
I think those things need to start being discussed so that we can see where the improvements could come, and just to be able to be clear on the information we give our residents. Thank you for clearing up the ordinance for the deputy chief. When I looked at it, I thought it was just putting the position. I didn't realize that we have somewhere else how the position gets appointed. I thought that was completely eliminated when we eliminated the deputy chief position the last time. But, okay, we'll see at the next meeting how that goes. And I just want to say, all the kids are out there, please be careful, enjoy your summer. This week is supposed to be a very hot week. I'm glad that summer rec started this week. My kids have enjoyed it, and it's only been the first day. The schools have their summer enrichment program. I know the high schools, they're starting with all of their fall sports already. So kids are outside, they're having fun, and just be aware of that. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations on your retirement, Maureen. Enjoy. Lots of things happening in South River. South River Day was a success. Good beginning. It'll be some tweaked up there. After that, spaghetti dinner at St. Peter and Paul. Excellent, as usual. Did you attend the shredding event? There are other shredding events in the various towns. You can take a look on the internet for the schedule, but South River did have theirs on the 25th. The planning board meeting, again, discussing the master plan and specifically Main Street and what do we want to look at in the future of Main Street. And that's what's going to be discussed on the 19th. National Night Out is going to be on August the 2nd. The council meeting, our next one, will be on August the 1st. Something which Mr. Gruchensky said, put it the right way, being considerate, because there's been a lot of complaints about it. And the problems that exist belong with individual people. If you're walking your dog, you have to pick up after the dog. If you own property, you have to cut the grass, clean up around your house. Don't put out trash early. If you are going to play with fireworks, yes, you're going to play with fireworks. But really, after 10 o'clock at night, 11, 12, 1 in the morning, come on. There are people sleeping. You know better than that, no matter how drunk you are. Be considerate. Be considerate to other people. Don't think that, oh, well, I can get away with it, because that hurts the town. And you may not care, but eventually it's going to come back and bite you. That's all that I have. Is there anything else to come before us?
Mayor, excuse me a minute. I did forget something in my report.
Yeah.
The tax bill is going to come out late. The county has not certified the tax rate yet,
Yeah.
so the public just has to be patient. We'll probably discuss it more on the August 1st meeting
Okay.
as to extending the date of
Right.
payment.
Yes.
But we don't even know when we're going to get the
Right,
tax
okay.
bills.
That, good point. You will not be penalized if you don't pay your taxes on August 1st. We can't move ahead because the county is not moving ahead with what we need. The big towns always get it first, and even if once we do have the information we need, when we go to the printer, guess who goes first? The big towns, and then we get later. So it is being worked on. Don't worry. We'll come after your money. If there's nothing else, may I have
Motion to adjourn.
motion by Mr. Gindi, seconded by Mr. Ciula. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? The ayes have it. See you August the 1st.